Right, we are, I think, finally at the stage where I'm happy to turn this thing on and see where we are. At the end of the last episode, I think we had looked at all of the capacitors that we've changed, and we'd also looked at the DC side of the chassis. And I think what I said we were going to do is have a look at all of the resistors. And I've done that, primarily to get rid of things like these old, what they call dog bone resistors. Generally over time they get hot and the resistance values will change. They can even be damaged. This one here, for example, you can see the wax is actually starting to leak out of it. But also some of the old resistors that are in here are looking a bit worse for wear, and I have changed a couple of those, especially where they're looking at the or where they are seated in the high voltage part of the circuit. And you can see I've replaced a few resistors down in this area here, tested a few others. I have been around the whole chassis and tested all of the resistors in here, and what I would say is that whilst none of them are critically damaged, there's no shorts, for example, or no opens, they're pretty much all showing their age. And if this was a full restoration, I would change them all. Most of them are out of specification now, but this being what it is, I think we're at the stage where I'm happy that the circuit is safe to test, and we'll just see where we are. We might have to change the odd one here or there depending on what we find. I've also serviced this potentiometer and switch. This is the tone control. I've cleaned up all of the jack points so that we can actually do some testing. And I think what we'll do now is we'll switch this thing on and see where we are. On this multimeter I have AC, looking at the AC voltage coming in to the unit, or shall I say present at the primary of the transformer. And then this one and the vacuum tube meter are looking at the DC at various parts of the circuit. And I'm aware you probably won't be able to see all of these in great detail, so as we bring the voltage up, I'll let you know what's going on. Oh, and one final thing is I've completely cleaned and serviced the speaker, which is in low average condition. There are a number of pinprick holes in the paper, probably caused, I suspect, by little worms or grubs or whatever else it might be. But it's good enough to test. And so without further chat, I'll switch on the variac now, and I'll bring it up to, let's say, 80 volts. And nothing's happening at the moment because I need to turn the switch on. So let's do that now. So it's showing 75 volts, no magic smoke, but equally no voltage rise as yet. And I've put all the tubes back in here, but of course we do need to let the tubes warm up, especially the rectifier, before that even starts to provide any voltage. So we'll just give that a few moments. Let's have a look at this voltages, see if anything's coming up. Nothing at the moment. Let's give it a touch more. Let's take it up to 100 volts. Oh, there's a good sign here. You probably can't see this on the video, but the pilot light is on. So we do have some voltage around here, and okay, I can start to see the DC rectified voltage starting to come, building very slowly because remember we're only at half voltage at the moment. There's still no signs of any problems in the chassis. We're up to 12 volts, 20, it's building steadily, 30, 40, we're up to 70 volts now, 90. I can see in my view of the chassis that the heater lights are beginning to glow on the tubes. That's good. Up to 130 volts now. Let's give it a bit more. Let's take it up to about 140. There's 140 there. DC voltage still climbing. We're up to 180. Everything looking good so far. Let's bring it up to 200 volts AC. So we've got 230 volts DC. Okay, let's give it the full whack. Let's take it to 230. Okay, so we've got two measurements here. We've got one lot on this meter, which is sort of halfway down the voltage divider chain. That's showing 225 volts. And the main rectified voltage looks like it's about 310 volts, so, and it's steady. Okay, so let's give this a tone and see what we get. I've got the TTI G550 down here on a square wave. So let's just turn the volume up a little bit. Well, there we go. We do have some sound. Let's try the tone control, switch that in. Looks like that's working too. Brilliant. A little bit of hum there. That might be because we've got the coax is just dangling in the wind underneath on the top side of the chassis where I cut them off, which probably isn't going to help a great deal. Let's turn that off. Let's just turn the volume down. Let's put some more something a bit more tonal into here. This is just one of the pieces that I did a few years ago. So that tone control sounds to me just like a low pass filter coming in and out, but overall well, I'd say that's a bit of a win. Very good. So I think for the level of restoration we're going for, that's probably this amplifier section of the machine pretty much complete. What I will do is get the thermal camera out in a bit and just have a quick look around, make sure there's nothing getting too hot. But from what I can see and feel here, I can't really feel anything that's getting hugely warm. A little bit this side, which is the output tube and the pilot light. A little bit over here for the rectifier. But overall I'm pretty pleased with that, so that's good progress. So yeah, on to the top part of the chassis next, I suppose. Have a look at that, see what needs doing on it. And yeah, the next part will be starting to tear into that. Okay, thanks for watching, see you soon.